What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room. So this is where we at. We going to Club Shay, and he sat down with Big Daddy Kane. Shout out to Shannon Sharp and Big Daddy Kane. Real talk.
And what the French toast is there to think about?
I grew up on Big Daddy Kane music and stuff like that, as well as a lot of the other artists that Big Daddy Kane's going to talk about with Shannon Sharp in this segment right here. And yeah, man, we're gonna hear what Big Daddy Kane had to say and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So let's dive off into it. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
You were Biggie's favorite rapper. Did you met Biggie?
Yeah. I've been around Big twice.
Okay.
But we had 3 phone calls. It was always funny, too, because we didn't have a direct connection. It was my DJ, Mr. C,
okay,
who would call and put us on the phone together. Mm-hmm. And when he clicked Big in, first thing he said, the real B.I.G. That's the first thing we just laugh and whatnot. Then he tell me what's on his mind, but I mean, he was someone that I had so much respect for, man. And I thought was super talented because I've seen a lot of MCs, develop, their style and become better throughout the years. I saw Biggie do this in like a year.
Yes.
In like 1 year, I seen him go from here to here lyrically. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I was like, had he lived.
And, before they keep going, I could attest to that too. Even though, I did grow up when the East Coast, West Coast beef was going on. So yeah, at that time, I was a young kid being stupid. You know what I'm saying? Tupac was my favorite back then. Like unequivocally, couldn't nobody tell me any different. You know what I'm saying? Pac was the man, and couldn't nobody tell me any different back then. Even though it just is what it is. But we all grow and things like that. That whole situation, definitely was stupid. You know what I'm saying? I was like, what, in mid-teens or something like that back then. So yeah, it just is what it is. But yeah, though, man, to really think back on it, Biggie did lyrically, grow between the moment he put out Juicy and, before he passed away with Life After Death. The lyric style had kind of, grown in between just those 2 albums and stuff like that. Like, if you just really pay attention, Big Daddy Kane ain't lying though, seriously.
Up to 1 in 4 men.
Just being real with it though. All right, come on, y'all.
Been the greatest MC ever.
Wow. Did you know that he had that ability? Because like you said, it wasn't long. It wasn't like he had a 5-year or 10-year career. It like he blew up and then it was gone. Just like that.
I mean, it's the type of thing where back then when Mr. C was trying to get him a deal, C would be like, yo, he don't remind you of you? Nah. And then he came out with I believe Party and Bullshit. And, he rocking. And he's like,
Party and
yeah. And he's asked me again. He's like, yo, you don't, because Biggie talked about stuff I didn't talk about.
Correct.
See what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, I don't see it. Then when he came out with the remix for One More Chance, and when I'm like, however, I stay Coochie down to the socks. I called C that time.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. I see it now.
I see it.
I see it. Yeah. I was like, yeah, he's a monster.
Biggie invited you to one of Tupac shows. How did you and Tupac get?
I was performing in Madison Square Garden.
Okay.
For the Budweiser Superfest.
Okay.
And Biggie wanted to come.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, And Biggie was hanging with Pac because he was in New York filming Above the Rim.
Okay.
So he asked, could Pac come?
Okay.
And I was like, absolutely. Because I knew Pac when he was dancing for Digital Underground.
Yeah.
Because they were the opening act on my first tour. So I'd known Pac for that,
Right.
So I was like, absolutely, yeah, bring him. So when they brought him, I called them, both on stage,
right,
and let them freestyle,
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
How often does that happen? That someone of your ilk caliber invite somebody on stage, y'all go ahead and freestyle there?
Well, the reason I mean, I do it a lot, but the reason I really wanted to do it that particular night is because when I first got on, Bobby Brown did it for me.
Oh,
You know?
okay. Yes.
Because this is when they wasn't really letting hip hop in the garden like that. You know, I think maybe the last ones to be there might have been like Run DMC or LL, you know. So like Bobby Brown had a show, you know, his first solo album, and he let me get on and rock with him and perform one of my songs.
Damn, I ain't know that. Shout out to Bobby Brown. For real though. Hey, Bobby Brown always told y'all it was his prerogative. He was gonna do what he wanted to do. It's my prerogative.
What the French toast is there to think about?
Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So he put Big Daddy Kane on at the Garden, and I get it definitely. With the, if you just really think about the mindset, anybody my age and older, if you really think about the mindset of where America was, definitely with rap music and all that stuff back then, I could get how they wouldn't let rap music in the Garden like that. If what you know about, you know, Madison Square Garden and the prestige it really had back then, like they weren't trying to let rap in there. You know what I'm saying? Bobby Brown got on because, you know, R&B and, you know, New Edition and all that other type of stuff. That was a different type of genre of black music back then too.
So here's Biggie, a new up and coming artist. Here's Pac, you know, he filming a movie. Fat Joe also, but I ran out of time. I couldn't let Joe on,
Right.
because they was telling me 5 minutes left. Yeah. But I was like, y'all come on, you know, rock.
You know, Joe gonna tell that story. Joe gonna say you had 25 minutes left. You know, Joe go add some yeast to that thing so that thing grow down.
No, listen, let me explain something to you. Ain't nothing better than watching Pajokio do his thing.
Pajokio, come on, Kane.
Wait.
Who the fuck is Pajokio? Oh my goodness. Who the fuck is Pajokio? Dude, hey, Fat Joe. Fat Joe. Did Big Daddy Kane give you a nickname called Pajokio? Oh my goodness. Who was Fat Joe? Oh my goodness. Pajokio. Wow. Okay. Hold
he
on.
getting his element. I love it. I love it. But I'm gonna let the world know straight up. He telling the truth when he say that he was there and was supposed to get on that particular night at Madison Square Garden. Joe telling the truth.
Because you know people say, man, you wasn't supposed to go on with Kane. Kane wasn't about to let you on.
Nah, he's telling the straight up truth. And in all honesty, it was something that, you know, really bothered me.
Right.
Because, you know, because he was a new artist at the time. So that would have been a good look for him. But they were like 5 minutes and I still hadn't done Woman Up Kane or Ain't No Half Stepping. So I didn't have no time.
You didn't have no time to get him on. Did you ever get in the studio with Pac? You ever see Pac in the studio?
We worked together. Before, like a year before he passed, Suge Knight wanted to start Death Row East.
Right.
And, you know, he invited me out.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. You know what I'm saying? You know, hearing that, you know, the media worked different back then. You know, you caught a lot of media through you had MTV and stuff like that, updating you on hip hop, rap, all, you know, R&B, all new age music, stuff like that. What else you had? Yo and TV raps. So yeah, you know, I remember them saying that, you know what I'm saying, of course, Suge Knight was trying to start Death Row East. You know, I remember that shit. You know, it's definitely true. I mean, obviously it's true. It just is what it is.
Well, we went out to a Tyson fight, and you know, we talked about working, and then we left Vegas and flew right back to LA. Right. Went in the studio, and I recorded a song called Wherever You Are with Pac. I wrote a song for Hammer called What You Gonna Do For Me, and me, Pac, and Hammer, all three of us did a song together called Too Late Player. All in the
Now hold on here. I ain't never heard of none of these songs. Where are all these songs at? Why wasn't this released? You know, I gotta ask this question here. Hold on here. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, look, you talking about Pac and Big Daddy Kane did a song together that was obviously never released. And you know what I'm saying? He wrote song for Hammer, and you know, man, wow. So where's all this music at? You know, because it's still obviously it's already recorded. So somebody got it somewhere. Somebody got the tracks somewhere. And I wish they would release that shit. I think that shit would be fucking fire, bro. Big Daddy Kane and Tupac. Man, come on, bro.
Same night.
Wow.
Yeah.
Suge offered you an opportunity. Did he try to sign you to Death Row East?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why you didn't sign?
It was like he asked me what did I want. I said 400,000 an album. I didn't, because I'm checking the temperature, because at that point in time, no one was really trying to sign me. So I'm trying to check the temperature in the room, you know. So I didn't want to go hard. So I said 400,000. He was like, "That's a strange number. 400. Why wouldn't you just simply say 500?" Okay, 500. And he like, "Man, you Big Daddy Kane, man." He was like, "I have to make the Dog Pound.
Mm-hmm.
I have to make, I forgot what other artists he mentioned. I have to, make them.
Mm-hmm.
You already an established name. I would be insulting you to give you less than $1 million." Okay, cool. And I mean, I thought we had a deal.
Right.
But then he said, "Look, I don't know about your financial status right now, but if you need a little something, I can, give you a little 100,000 right now, to take with you, know." And then that's what made me uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. You
know
felt that you took that 100,000, you was gonna be indebted to this man.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
that just felt like a gangster move, and I was like, nah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yo.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Listen, look, man. Definitely anybody in my age group, you know what I'm saying, early millennials and beyond, you know what I'm saying, we knew how Suge used to roll. Even as a child, I heard the stories because, you know what I'm saying, I was a teenager, but it is what it is, though. I heard the stories, stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, how Suge moved in the industry, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't no real secret back then. A lot of y'all new age cats, you know what I'm saying, y'all don't understand that, but, you know what I'm saying, that ain't for y'all to know or worry about. But, you know what I'm saying, for people in my age group and a little bit older, y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, Suge was out there treacherous back then, like seriously. And I could see how Suge did come at Big Daddy Kane sideways like that. And, you know what I'm saying, Suge didn't give a fuck. Now, for us to see Suge Knight locked up the way he is now and power diminished and all the things he been through, running over his, the friend situation that happened in Vegas where he ran over the dude with the truck, all that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying, to see what Suge Knight at now, man, that shit is crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? When he was just like, at the pinnacle back in the day, Suge Knight was a ruthless son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest with it. He wasn't playing no games. So, yeah. I mean, I could see how Big Daddy Kane would look at that shit sideways, bro. You know what I'm saying? With him offering, 100,000 after he just said, listen, look, you Big Daddy Kane, I feel disrespected if I don't give you $1 million because your name already out there, you Big Daddy Kane. But shit, I don't know how your financial situation is right now, but I can shoot you 100,000, you know what I'm saying, like time out and
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Yeah, that would be, that would be off-putting for, definitely, I believe, for a man like Big Daddy Kane to, come into the situation when he was already established for Suge Knight even had Death Row. It just is what it is, though.
And I didn't do it.
Yeah. Biggie was 24 when he passed. Pac was 25 when he passed. Given what they were doing at the time of their untimely demise, how big do you think they would have been? Let's just say they live another 10 years, another 15, another 20 years.
I think that Pac would have probably been the Michael Jackson of hip hop.
Ooh! Hold on. And this Big Daddy Kane saying this now, you know what I'm saying? Like Pac, I believe at the same time though, too, if both of them gentlemen, if both of them young men had time to really grow and become young and become men and understand how life really worked and stuff like that, the politics, the whole nine, you know what I'm saying, from top to bottom, stuff like, I think if they had to be, because in my mindset, the reason why them two young men were kind of music was starting to go a different way. The corporations were starting to have a much more stronghold over definitely black music. where they didn't have it before, because it was starting to become very profitable in the mid 90s too. You know what I'm saying? They saw what Suge Knight was doing, they saw what Def Jam did, things like that. They saw what, you know what I'm saying, how much money these black record label executives were really making. You had Jermaine Dupri down in Atlanta, stuff like that. Shit was going on. These black entrepreneur record labels were making a shit ton of money. And you had Capitol in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying, you had Universal, all that type of stuff. And then they started re-looking at things and started looking like, okay, these black record labels are making a shit ton of money out here. So obviously this shit is profitable. So they started sneaking in and stuff like that. But I don't think that the message that Pac and Biggie would have come to, if they had lived long enough, would have been viable for, you know, the control of the major record labels. I'm just going to be honest with you here. It wouldn't have been viable for, you know, creating to where we at today with the music. Today, the black music is controlled mostly by the machine of the record label, stuff like that. That's the reason why we have all this stupid music in our black culture now. You know, our black artists and stuff like that, they're you know, it's just a bunch of stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? They create decent musical beats and stuff like that to make it sound good, but it's masking a message that's really not even there. And the message that is there is destructive, is very toxic, is very, you know, spiritual draining and things like that. And that's where, you know, they took it to. And, you know what I'm saying, as far as we not being able to control our music anymore like we did have in the past. You know, in the 90s, black people, we had pretty much control of our music, even though we had, you know, we had Suge and all them, you know, Death Row, gangster rap. But at the same time, though, too, we still had neo soul, we had hip hop, we had, you know, of course, R&B, you know what I'm saying, things like that. We had a serious genre of different music in the black culture that fed us collectively as a black culture. And nowadays, we don't have those different genres. We just got rap. We don't even have true R&B music anymore. And you know what I'm saying? But the problem is that music was a part of our soul as a culture. And the reason why we in these conditions as a culture, as black people in the 21st century here, is because we don't have those dynamics anymore. We don't have that music to listen to and things like that. That type of situation, you know, hip hop was fun and popping and stuff like that. It was a good time to teach us how to have fun. R&B taught us how to love and relate to each other, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Neo soul gave us the soul aspect of our culture that we needed to keep our culture together, because we need the soul part too. You know what I'm saying? And then we had the R&B, you know what I'm saying, that gave us the shit that we needed to get in the bedroom and keep creating other black people.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
I said it. Real talk, man. I'm definitely in on this. I'm glad Shannon Sharp is doing his job, bro, out here. He is actually doing a great job, man. Shout out to Shannon Sharp. You know what I'm saying? For real, though, man. And shout out to Big Daddy Kane, man, because this is, I'm telling you people out there, this is what's going on in our community here. We've lost a lot of factors of our musical talent that we need to feed us as a community. You know what I'm saying? Because we're musical people. And I'm sorry to go on a rant this long, man. Fuck it though. But I'm telling the God's honest truth. We are a musical people, bro. And we need R&B. We need rap. We need hip hop. We needed all these genres, different genres and stuff like that to feed our soul collectively as a community. And this is just real out here. Let's keep going a little bit further here.
Wow.
You know, because you got to understand, not only did women love Pac, men love Pac.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Men, like women wanted to be with Pac, men wanted to be like Pac.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, I mean, he was a very, very powerful figure. You know, anytime you pass away and people have sightings of you, that's when you're a bad dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know?
True. True.
Like people still swear out that Michael Jackson's still alive.
Yeah.
People still swear out Elvis Presley's alive.
Right.
People doing that with Pac.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Right. Want to join Club Shay?
Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. You know, we gonna end it with this picture right here of Shannon Sharp and Big Daddy Kane. But you know what I'm saying? What I just said is the God's honest truth, man. We've lost a lot in our community as Black people, and I've seen the decline in our music as an almost 43-year-old man that grew up in an era, you know what I'm saying, where we had the hip hops, we had the Queen Latifahs, we had the MC Lights, we had, women that actually spoke the truth and stuff, like decent women that had clothes on and shit. And of course, we had the Lil' Kims and the Foxy Brown stuff. But we had the Commons, and we had, you know what I'm saying, the Tribe Called Quest, and we had, you know what I'm saying, the Funkadelic music out of Atlanta with, you know what I'm saying, Andre 3000. And all them, we had a different range of music to feed our soul collectively as a culture, man. And we've lost that now because the big corporations have, pushed all of our soul to the side and just collectively just bear down on this rap situation, which is only one part of what we need to feed ourselves as the Black community.
What the French toast is there to think about?
We don't have no more control. And the moment we started losing control of our music in the Black community, technically that's when we started really going way off the fucking rails as a community. We lost our morals, we lost our responsibility and our duty to each other, we lost our souls and every damn thing because we don't have our music under control. And our music was the message to the rest of the world. That's the reason why we gained so much respect amongst the rest of the world. We was producing good music that everybody's soul could be fed. But we lost that now. And, I don't know if we're going to ever get that back. But it is what it is, though. Shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.